Hello everyone, I'm Eleftheriou and welcome to another Metal Songwriter video. In this video we're going to talk about the octaves. The octave is the interval of eighth. So first of all I would like to show to you how we can find an octave theoretically, and then I'm going to show you how we can play them on the guitar. The interval of an octave is pretty simple to find that theoretically, because we just count 8 notes from the note that we start counting. For example, let's take the note C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we started on C and the 8th note is C. So the octave is the same note, just higher or lower. So there are a couple of ways that we can play an octave on the guitar, and it depends on the finger that we start playing the first note. For example, if we start with the index finger, the patterns are the following ones. From the 6th string is like that. That's the way we can play an octave. We skip one string and we skip one fret. The same pattern happens if I want to play an octave from the 5th string. Now from the 4th and the 3rd we just move the octave one fret higher. So, from the 6th, from the 5th, from the 4th, and from the 3rd string. That's the first way. The other way is when we start playing the first note with the 3rd or the 4th. That depends on, what's comfortable for you. Let's say I want to play an A note. This is the octave. From the 6th string. From the 5th string is like this, and the same from the 4th. I can't play from the 3rd because I don't have more strings. Okay, so that's about how we can find and how we can play the octaves, but let's see how we can use them to create riffs. The most common way and the most useful way, at least to me, that I can use octaves to create a riff is when I have a melody and I want to make that sound more complete, have a fuller sound, sound more big. That's how I use the octaves, and that's what I'm gonna do in example number 1. I just have a melody and I'm playing that with octaves. I personally use the first way with the index finger because I find it pretty comfortable, and I'm pretty comfortable playing with that. So, example number 1, have a melody and I'm playing that with octaves. Let's hear that. So, as you could hear, I just had a melody. And I just play that with octaves. And so on, right? Now, for example number 2, I've chosen the clean tone of my guitar, and that's a pretty good way. You can play with your clean tone the octaves. Again, with the same technique, like you have a melody and you want to play that with octaves. And I chose to play the octaves in a more arpeggiated way. I mean, not one strike and the whole octave, but first 8th, first 8th, first 8th, in a more arpeggiated way. That works fine because you can add a 3rd guitar and have a melody on the background and play that with octaves. That works fine, and that's what I did in example number 2. I have a guitar playing the chords and I have a small melody on the background playing a melody. So let's hear example number 2. I'm in C sharp minor, and let's hear that. A very good way to use the octaves is when you have a riff and you have some small melodic lines. It's pretty good when you play those lines with octaves. That's what I'm gonna do in example number 3. I have a riff and I've combined that with some octave lines. Let's hear example number 3. So, as you heard in example number 3, I had a riff and I used some small melodic lines to make that sound more interesting, maybe. So, the riff is like this, and here come the octaves. Riff, octaves, and so on. So, that's the whole concept. You have a riff and you have some small melodies and you play them with octaves. Many bands have done that, and it works pretty fine. So let's revise that. We can use octaves both with distortion channel and clean channel, both on the foreground. I mean, the main riff can have octaves, or some additional guitars on the background can have octaves. And the third way is I have a riff and I combine that with octaves, some melodies played with octaves. So that's all about the octaves. That's all I can think about the octaves. Please feel free to comment below and expose your ideas about some future videos. I would be glad to see all those comments. You can find the tabs and the diagrams on about how we can play an octave. Yeah, that's all about the octaves. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you find it useful. See you on the next videos.